What's up, you guys? I'm Montana, and
I thought you said I could finish my ice cream before we started this. My foot is in.
Anyways,
I'm gonna finish my ice cream.
This is Chris, and this is Meatology, where we share our cooking experiments with you. Today, we're getting Ribby with it.
So first of all, we want to thank all of you guys that voted in our Instagram poll between What the Cluck and Getting Ribby with It. It was a close race, but in the end, Getting Ribby with It was the winner. So in this episode, we're going to smoke some giant beef ribs. They're the size of your head. They're gonna be great, delicious. But as you guys all might know, when you're cooking something like that, it takes a long time and you got plenty of downtime. So for a special treat to say thank you guys for voting, we have a little surprise, a little idea of something that you can do in that downtime.
Yes, in that downtime, we have an amazing recipe for a Smoky Georgia peach ice cream. I hope you're ready for it. I really hope you're ready for it.
What if we're not ready?
You better get ready.
Okay, let me get ready.
You got a little bit of smoked bourbon in there, smoked peaches, a little bit of smoked tea in there. And also, we're gonna put a little bit of bone marrow in there. Show you how that works out.
What?
Yeah, I know. Show you how that works out later. But anyways, let's jump right into it.
All right, so to get started with these beef ribs, the first thing we gotta do is trim off the excess fat. Some of you might ask, why should I take the fat off? Well, if you put all of your seasoning on the fat, then it's not gonna get to the meat. Underneath the fat, you're gonna see some of this tough silver skin. We want that gone too, because when you get that in your mouth, it's gonna be super chewy and you're not gonna enjoy gnawing on it. So now that we got the beef rib trimmed, you can see what we're left with. It's a nice, clean, meaty rib section. You can see we got a lot of meat right here on this end. On this back side, your rib section might have a membrane back here that you want to peel off because it's gonna be tough and chewy. This one, I already had the membrane taken off at the butcher shop. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get this thing ready for the rub. First thing I need to do is I need something wet to put on this meat to help the rub stick. So what we're gonna use today is some Killer Hogs hot sauce. Gonna give this nice slather. Ooh, look at this piece right here. I like that. And for our rub today, we're gonna go a little Texas style, mainly pepper and salt. But we're gonna use this Holy Cow barbecue rub from Meat Church Barbecue. It's mostly just pepper, salt, some other spices. It's got a good flavor that should complement the beef ribs. You don't wanna put much sugar and sweet on your beef ribs. You get a lot of sugar in there and it cooks for a long time. The sugar's gonna burn. That's not gonna taste good. Now our beef rib is all rubbed up, ready to go, and we're gonna put it on the smoker. So we got the Yoder set to 250. We got it heated, it's ready to go. Gonna put these beef ribs on top. Get them as far away from the heat as possible. And now we're just gonna close it and leave it alone for a couple hours.
So to get started on the Smoky Georgia peach ice cream, you'll need the following ingredients: smoked tea, bourbon, xanthan gum, peach nectar, peaches, and bone marrow. We're gonna pause the video right here for a second so you can take a screenshot of this goodness. First, we're gonna take our peaches and cut them in halves. So once you have that, what you're gonna wanna do to get the skin off is actually to put them in a near boiling pot of water for about a minute. The skin's gonna loosen up and you can just peel it right off. With them being fresh peaches, there's not a lot of juice that they come with. If you're using canned peaches, you can just use the peach juice that's in the can. But since we're using fresh peaches, like I said, there's not a lot of juice, so we need something to substitute for that. So we got this peach nectar, just at Walmart. Yep, peach nectar. Pour that in there. because what this is really doing is just keeping it moist as we smoke it, and so it can soak up all that flavor. So our next ingredient is some smoked bourbon. Now this can be any bourbon of your choice. Today we are using the Chattanooga whiskey from the Tennessee Steelhouse, and all we need is a 1/4 cup. So just measure that out. Well, crap. Just broke off my quart in the freaking... It's a good thing I got one of these, because you never know when you're gonna need it. Yeah. Back to it. 1/4 cup of bourbon. So like I said, go ahead and pour that into a separate metal container, because it will be going on the smoker. So now that we have got our peaches and our bourbon smoked, it's time to add it together with a couple of other ingredients, and then add it back to the peaches, put it in a container, set it in the fridge overnight, let all those flavors just marry up and get ready to make our syrup. First, what we're gonna do is first skillet on a low heat, and then we're gonna strain the juice from our peaches into... Go ahead and add in our bourbon. Next, we're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And finally, the best part, since this is a smoky Georgia peach ice cream, we gotta keep it in the colonies and go with some Oliver Pluff Colonial Bowie tea, which is a smoky tea that's gonna just even give that more of a punch of smoke to this mixture, and eventually our syrup that's gonna go into our ice cream. Make sure you mix all that around in there good. And once you start to see it simmering, you can actually set it off the heat or take it off heat. Let it steep for about 5 minutes just so that you get all of that smoke and that tea flavor from the tea leaves. So now that this has steeped for about 5 minutes, it's time to put in the peaches to a container, and then also strain this over the peaches, pop it in the fridge, and let it sit there to marry up all the juices before we get it back out and start making the syrup a little bit later. While we wait on that, we're gonna go ahead and blanch our bones so that the bone marrow inside is easier to scoop out. You just kind of run around there and it should slide right out beautifully like that. That was amazing. Bring the hot plate back. Medium high heat. Really our main goal is to just render this bone marrow down to, an oil. All right, so now that our beef bone marrow has rendered down, what we're gonna do is strain all this into another pot just to get all these clumps out and get it ready to go into our ice cream base. So now that our smoky peach and bourbon concoction has sat together and all those flavors have blended together, it's time to make the syrup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna strain the peaches out again, get that liquid in a hot pan, and reduce it about 50% to make that syrup to go into our ice cream base. All right, so now we're gonna start our ice cream base. You need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, and thankfully that's 16 ounces, which is this carton. Pour that, all that goodness, into the saucepan. And then you're gonna need 1 cup of milk. And for those who dairy doesn't sit well with them, use lactate whole milk. Works just the same, it's fine. So we're gonna heat that on low heat, and then you're gonna whisk that together. While you're whisking it, we're gonna whisk in this mixture of sugar, xanthan gum, and a little bit of salt. Make sure you get that nice and mixed in. And after that, we're gonna take the rendered fat from the bone marrow and slowly add it in. You wanna mix pretty vigorously right here because you really want all this bone marrow fat to emulsify into this mixture of the cream. And just make sure that's mixed in well. You don't have to stir it forever. Dip it in there, run your finger through it. If it stays apart like that, then you're good to go. So after you let this cool for a minute, we're gonna add in the syrup and then get it right into the ice cream maker. So we have the ice cream done now, and it's to the consistency that we want now. And so now it's time to mix in the peach slices. What we're gonna do, we're going to take the peaches that we smoked and just dice them up into bite-sized pieces. So now we're just gonna take the peaches that we've diced up and mix it into the ice cream. So now that we put all the peaches into the ice cream and mixed it up well, it's time to put it in our pint containers. And after you do that, you want to flip them upside down and put them in the freezer. Now the reason we flip them upside down is to get any kind of air bubbles or anything like that to go to the bottom of the container. That way when we open it up, it's that nice and pretty flat top on the pint container. So put these in the freezer for overnight, and then you're ready to enjoy some homemade ice cream. Smoky Georgia peach ice cream.
So, it's been about 5 hours since we put the beef ribs on. And as you can see, our beef ribs have a nice bark going. We got these little moisture pockets where the fat's rendering out. We were spraying it about every 45 minutes to keep it nice and moist. And this is the point where we're ready to wrap it. Like you're sending a present to your mother. A beef present. The goal with wrapping it is we've got all the smoke and all the bark doneness on the outside that we want. Just trying to keep that moisture in. We got our nice little beef rib package. Gonna put it back on the smoker. Gonna keep the temperature at 250. And at this point, we're just going to monitor it every half hour or so until we stick our thermometer probe in there and it's nice and buttery soft. Our beef ribs have been smoking for about 7.5 hours. And as you can see right here, check this out. These bones are sliding right out. This thing is just about perfect. Take a little thermometer probe, we start poking. You can see this stuff is just buttery soft, which is what you're looking for. Not necessarily worried about getting it to a particular temperature. You just want this meat to give way without any resistance. Now that this thing is ready, we're gonna wrap it up for about an hour in a cooler, keep it warm, and then we're gonna come back, cut this thing, and give it a taste. All right, so it's been a long day, guys. Our ribs smoked for about 7.5, 8 hours, but they've been resting for an hour in the cooler now. Now it's time to cut into these things and give them a taste.
Do it. Oh my gosh.
Here you go. This one for you. One for me.
Oh my goodness. Cheers.
Cheers. It's got a very nice beef flavor with that peppery rub. That's great. I'm gonna put that away for now. I'm gonna save it for later when I can enjoy it.
All right. So,
Can we try your ice cream now?
we are going to try the ice cream now.
Okay. Do you get 2 spoons?
I get 2 spoons. You get
I
another
didn't
spoon.
eat all of it. I saved some when, well, you saw it happen earlier.
Yeah. All right. So, Smoky Georgia peach ice cream. Whoa.
Guys, gals, boys and girls, you need to try this. It's pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
It's got a very woody, smoky flavor to it, which when he brought this idea to me, I was like, I don't know about that. I said, I didn't say it to him because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I said, sounds kind of dumb, but you need to give this a shot. Next time you're cooking some beef ribs or anything that takes a while, you got some downtime between when you put it on and when it finishes, you need to try something like this. So we appreciate you guys. Again, thanks for voting on Getting Ribby with it. This has been episode 2 of Meatology. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you're the first to know when episode 3 comes along. You guys take care.
I'm glad I didn't have anything to say.